So I start with you, Swasti, on this. I feel this is fairly significant, but what is important was that it was almost a suo motu comment. The reporter asked some other question, and it's quite clear that the MEA spokesperson wanted to make this a headline before the Prime Minister's visit. Is this purely aimed at the upcoming BRICS event, or on its own, you know, is this a significant announcement?
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, Arnab, but thank you for your question. So very quickly, yes, there is a context to it, which is that, yes, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping are going to be meeting the sidelines of the BRICS summit. And this is going to start tomorrow. So obviously, it makes sense for them to sort of have this kind of a favorable disposition towards each other. So that's one part. But however, to reduce it to merely the fact that they have to, since they have to meet at the BRICS summit, therefore they have only done something at a superficial level is not something I agree to. Like you mentioned, that there are basically two things, that there is a disengagement process to happen at the LAC, and there's also a de-escalation process to happen at the LAC. What we have seen right now is disengagement, okay? And this disengagement, you know, somebody can argue that this is a small step, but I think, in my opinion, this is an incremental step, and another step can be taken, which can be built on this. So nobody here is saying that the complete problem at LAC has been resolved, but what we have achieved after so many years of negotiation, okay, and without really bowing down to any Chinese pressure or tactic or this and that, is that we have agreed mutually to try and disengage, and especially at the key areas of Depsang and Demchok, because Depsang is also a place where in 2013 there was a face-off. Now, this, of course, de-escalation is not happening, and I hope that this de-escalation can be also reached out later. However, the only caveat, Arnab, that I would like to leave the audience with, and everybody else is with, is that Chinese are masters at doublespeak. The last important event of Chinese interference in Indian political system was, of course, during the Manmohan Singh years, when there was this hue and cry about how to engage China, and we kind of, closed our eyes to a lot of things that the Chinese were doing, and something that we are now sort of somewhere in later years we, reap the consequences for. So the Chinese are masters at doublespeak. The Chinese take one step forward and two steps backwards, and this is what Chinese have been all about. They have backstabbed India at a time when India was honoring all the commitments. So all this has to be taken with a pinch of salt. And I would say this has to be rooted in strong strategic realism. And finally, the thing is that India has always been clear, whether it's Pakistan or China, that our bilateral issues and our bilateral, disagreements or whatever conflicts with our neighbors, something that we deal with bilaterally. Yeah. So there has never been a kind of a space for the third-party engagement, and I think we'll stand by that. So this is a complete picture of what I feel this conflict is.